Welcome to the Mind of Business Success podcast. I'm your host, Alicia Kramer. Today we have with us Patrice Bizio. He is back with us because, he's now my favorite style interventionist, as well as an amazing person. And there's just so much value that I want to extract from him and share with our audience. So welcome back to the show, Patrice.
Bonjour. That's right. I didn't do that last time because normally I love to create a little, what do I say now? So bonjour, Alicia.
So before we get into some of the deeper stuff that we want to talk about, tell our audience a little bit about you and about your business, just in case they did not hear our first interview.
Okay, although God will forgive them for that, not to have, listen to the old, the last podcast, but that's okay. All right, let's do it. So Paris, that's where the journey started out. 18 years old, I'm managing 3 hair salons because I always wanted to be an artist, but I wanted to be my own boss, my own man, my own everything. And I wanted to help others. So I was managing at the time for a very high-end salon in Paris, 3 salons. So I had many employees under me. And that was the beginning of the reveal of me knowing, hey, yeah, this is really what I want. It feels good. It's at the right place. I'm an artist, but at the same time, I have the skills of managing people. Now I wanted more, where my company brought me to Miami, to Bar Harbor Shops, which is the Beverly Hills of the US, the rodeo drive of Beverly Hills, even more so. So that's where I got really depth into luxury. Luxury got me to realize also in it, I don't want to be anybody's employee. I'm going to open my own business. 19 years old, I opened my own operation that became very successful very quickly. But on that, I also knew I needed to expand. I came with a dream. I came with Hollywood in my mind, something I was inspired by the entire time I was from a kid to until here and now. And that's what I had to do. So I hired my publicist in Beverly Hills to create my brand. So initially, definitely the purpose was very about, hey, I want to be global, I want to be famous, and I want to be rich and everything in between, to realize also that I wanted to do more with my life, leaving a legacy, that my vision, mission, and purpose was going to be greater than that. So that's when I started looking into what I was doing much deeper. Instead of just helping people with their appearance, I also knew that they had to align with their emotions in order to create what they wanted to do and to say on the red carpet, if it was a premiere, if it was a global leader going to promote their new product or making a public apology on the media, in front of the media. And that's how I started realizing that you have a way to express it physically by your appearance in order to know how you're going to say it to the world. You need to align what's within in order to tell for people to be able to read all the signals you're sending out when you present yourself, because it only takes a nanosecond to show up in the world and tell them who you are. So from that, I wrote my first book, Mind Your Hair. And Mind Your Hair is a journey of a lot of women in this world waking up one day, I don't feel good in my life, I'm going to fix my hair, fix my life. The trick is done. None. 7 steps later, I explain in this book how to take a successful makeover into a real success in life. From that, I started doing keynotes, and keynotes got me to really understand and enjoy what I was doing in a much fuller way, and got deep into the psychology of appearance. And that's why now my second book literally is launching right here, right now, Mind Your Impact Style Interventionist, about understanding what is branding? How do you build your brand? How do you understand all the components instead of thinking that brand is only the logo or the inside of your business or the way your website is looking? It's about knowing, I need to understand spirituality, self-development, self-confidence, all that creates who you are because your brand is you. And that's pretty much 20 years later.
And here you are. So you are so much more multifaceted than just what you wear, how your hair looks. It's a deeper transformation that is taking place. We're talking about clearing away the heavy crap that most people are going through life with, that is, it's showing up not just in how they present themselves physically, appearance wise, but energetically. It has so much to do with the spiritual journey, the inner work, starting to develop self-love, self-honor, self-respect, so that you're showing up as the powerful person you are meant to be. So let's talk about your journey a little bit. You shared last time you had it pretty good for a while, and then you hit your own personal rock bottom, but that was an opportunity for you to really start to find yourself, and kind of like the phoenix, the metaphorical phoenix rising up. Those really, really crappy things that happen in life that shake us to our core have within that adversity the opportunity for us to come out stronger than ever before. And that usually is the catalyst that will launch someone into doing really meaningful, impactful work in the world. So without going fully into the whole story again, can you share a little bit with us? What was your journey like as you were uncovering yourself from sort of this self-imposed prison of limitation and dogma and just all of the heavy stuff from your upbringing?
Yes, it's when I lost everything. For those who haven't listened to the podcast, which you need to go back to, losing it all from a massive amount of success from the age of 18 got me to have to stop and to watch everything. And I mentioned this yogi, this guru I met on my way. It happened, I met him right at that moment, and I was like, oh yeah, yoga. Oh yeah, I could do yoga. Probably I could do yoga to help me to clear my head. I don't know, but I didn't even understand any of it. And then when I went to him, he's like, all right, well, tell me a little bit about you. And I said to him, well, essentially, I just lost everything. And now he embraced me and he hugged me and he said, congratulations. I'm like, okay, I can smell the incense here, but I mean, I'm telling you, there's more to it than that. Let me repeat, I just lost everything because I was still the victim. I was still and it's like, no, congratulations. That's amazing. Now you could start and creating the slate of your own everything. Like it's your own movie, you can just redirect. Okay, so at first I didn't want to hear it because I was too consumed with what society wanted from me. And I was too nervous about knowing, are they going to love me? Are they going to love me when I walk into the room? Am I the best dressed? Am I the most loved? Am I the most popular? Am I the youngest, the better looking? And all these suddenly disappeared. And that journey of self-discovery became so evident to me because I'm like, well, and what he said, my guru said, is there any way to do something else? Like meaning, what do you have to lose to try to do something my way? And if it doesn't work, hey, go back to your old way. And I thought, all right, you know what? I could do that. And by starting not implementing it with actual yoga, Ashtanga to be precise, he said, oh, we're going to start meditation. Meditation is going to make you the most successful person you can ever be. You're going to be very rich from meditation. Again, I'm like, okay, I could smell that thing in the air. It's got to be something, with a brain. But that is when I said, okay. And the first time I remember sitting and he said, "Oh my God, please, could you stop your chatterbox? Your mind is racing a million miles an hour. I can't even hear myself." I'm like, how does he know that? That's crazy. But it was the symbol, that meditation thing was the beginning of realizing that the present moment is the only one that counts in life. Yes, it's good to have goals. It's good to be organized financially, technically, with your family, with everything in between. But the present moment is what's going to build everything else for the future. And if you don't nurture these very moments right here, right now, well, there's no other. And in my case, I used to be 5 months down the road, a year down the road. Oh, I made $100,000. Yeah, but when am I going to make 200? Oh, I made 200. Oh, how am I going to make 500,000? And everything was constantly this rat race against what society wanted of me, keeping up with the Jones, and all those values that were like society was telling me, yeah, be that, and we want you to be that. And if you are that, you are amazing. And if you define yourself with your bank account balance, that's the way to do it. Until realizing I could be zero in my bank account, but be very happy walking on the beach and being homeless. And that was the beginning of the journey.
Powerful. So many people are consumed with what society has deemed success to look like, when they haven't even taken a few moments to really reflect on what do I want? Do I even like me? Why am I going through all of the motions? It's kind of like deep down inside, it's there, right? You deep down inside, you want to love yourself. Deep down inside, you want to be happy. You want to be fulfilled. Deep down inside, the reason that you want more money is because it's loving to be able to say yes to yourself. It's loving to be able to go and travel and give and have healthier food and have richer experiences. But all of that superficial stuff is clouding the real reason that we feel desire to begin with. So when you started to spend time with yourself, what was that process like for you?
Well, the definition of me always was, how much do I have? How many cars in the driveway? How many designer watches? And are they, unique and, numbered and very limited edition? What vacation am I going to take? And how luxurious is the next hotel I'm going to stay in? And that was, to me, the biggest discovery, to knowing the value of me without stripping me out of everything. Because here I have all that stuff that now I have to worry about. I have to put in containers to send one in my mom's house, and then to put others in my friend's 3-car garage, because I don't know what to do with all that stuff and all my designer stuff and Italian custom made everything. To be like, so what? I'm in my car sleeping like a poor person. And it's like, oh my God. So as I explained, and on the last episode, which is, first is like, oh my God, I'm such a loser. So why should I even stay on Earth? Like, why is it alive being even an option? Because that's really where the cookie crumbles, and that's where everything stops. And finally, I got to my senses to say, this is crazy. I would break my family's heart. I would go to hell, or I don't know, go somewhere where it's probably not so good, or, and it's when I said, all right, fine. I'll look at it in the eyes and say, okay, what do I need to do with this? I don't know. And it became, well, the little inner voice was like, well, what do you want to do with your life? Now you have 4 businesses, now you have none. You have you, and you have what you know how to do, which is hair. So what do you do? And, so between my guru and I had a conversation with my publicist, she said, okay, move full time to Beverly Hills. We're going to really be serious about creating your brand. And I'm like, yeah, well, I have basically 5 pennies to my name. And she says, so what? We're going to do it? Yes, you're going to pay me. I'm not going to do it for free, but we're going to make it happen. And this is when I started feeling like, okay, well, there is a plan. Oh, wow. Oh, there is even a plan without money. Oh, wow. So it doesn't really matter how many watches, or I let go of all my real estate and my cars and everything in between. I did a garage sale to unload of all that stuff that I had to sell pennies over dollars to say, oh, okay, well, I'm moving to Beverly Hills. Well, that's not so bad. I mean, I could have moved to third world. And then from it, it got really quickly like successfully again, like actually building my brand in a different way on the red carpet more than ever, and photo shoots and commercials and all. And that's when I realized, like, oh, okay, actually, renting somebody, because I literally rented for a year someone's room. I was very lucky. Even that was like lucky. The lady has this enormous apartment with like 7 bedrooms. So I had a room, but believe me, a room with private elevator. I mean, it was not even, even that was a line for me. Enough to know that I had a base, and now I could really concentrate on, oh, okay, what is it that I want? Oh yeah, I'm working with celebrities, but I also started feeling like this is too limited for me. This is fun, but not so fun. I want more. I want to give more to society. And that's when I started thinking of a book. And the book became the first book that I published 5 years ago. And that's how all those things smoothly and naturally evolved into, I thought I was all that because of my bank account, to now I'm all that because I'm kind and I give and I think and I listen and I nurture myself and I listen to other people's stories, whether it's a homeless in the street that just has as much to say as a billionaire that traveled the world. And that's how everything started brewing together to become who I am today.
When you're working with your clients, how much do you infuse your spirituality into that work?
All right. So when that's a great question, because when my clients are hiring me for the 9 weeks one-on-one coaching program that is extremely involved and private and all, step number 3 is spirituality. And when I tell them that's actually out of all of what we're gonna do, this is the biggest step in the 9 steps I have for you. And now they're thinking again, oh dear God, okay, I'm not sure. Okay, he lived in LA, that's probably why. Oh, he's French, well, they're not all there either, on the other side of the pond. Until realizing by going deeper on working on who are you, what value do you want to, when we talk about the legacy, I make them do an exercise, which is one that's very well known, obviously, in the spiritual world, is writing your own eulogy. Okay, when I tell them that, they're like, what in the world are you talking about? I say, well, that's actually going to make you reflect on how do you want to be remembered? That's the best way for you to visualize in a very, very succinct form. What do you want to leave behind you? Because people think legacy is your name on a building in New York City. No, it's like, no, if you touched a life, 2 lives, 3 lives, you change them for the best. That's a legacy right there. You will be remembered as kind and you have done something else for someone else. And that's why that step, that spirituality step, is enormous. The most important, because if you don't know your value, if you don't know how you want to show up in this world, that's the mission part of it. It's really knowing, what do I want to leave behind, but what do I want to do every day that I fulfill myself? And not every day is the best day of your life, but even if it's not, to remind yourself that you are lucky enough, you're healthy, or you eat whatever you want, you can travel whenever you want, you drive a car, you live in a good home. That alone is spirituality right there, to embracing all that, instead of thinking that if it's not a mansion and if it's not a Maserati and if you don't have a Panerai around your wrist, you're not worth anything. And that's why in my program, spirituality is everything. And we spend a lot of time on that. Usually we spend 2 weeks because my clients, they don't see it coming. So they think, okay, whatever, I'm going to do it. And realizing that the more they go deep into it, the more they're like, I had clients breaking down and crying and be like, oh, whoa, this is so much deeper than I thought. And this is so much bigger than me. And that's when I know I succeeded to open up their eyes into how now we are going to create their brand.
I make people cry too.
That's what we do.
people with, you're dealing with people who maybe are not comfortable letting people see that side of themselves. And I do as well. A lot of times business owners, they're really good at the facade. It's easier to put on the mask and pretend to have it all together. Nobody wants to be seen as weak or broken or dysfunctional. But we have to admit that there is a part of us that's hurting in order to heal that part of us. And as long as we're dragging that through life, it's holding us down. It's holding us back. There's a lack of fulfillment in the life that we're creating until we discover what that is and embrace it and heal it and break through it. And it's really a beautiful process. And I always say, good, I'm glad I made you cry. Because a lot of the magic happens when we stop BSing ourselves and we really get deep and we get honest and we do that heavy inner work. So you have a whole series of steps that you take people through. And of course, we're not going to give away your proprietary system, but can you share with us kind of a high level overview of the journey that you take your clients through?
It's actually self-discovery, because when my clients are hiring me, they think, oh, okay, so he did hair and this and that. So it's going to be a water experience, a beauty experience, maybe a gossip experience on what celebrity did and said, and realizing very quickly that this is going to be at the end, not quite the end, but literally, but very much the second part of the training and the coaching. It's saying we're going to know first who you are. And I talked about it, obviously, in details in the other podcast with you, which is you want to know who you are in the core of you in order to show up as who you are. So the overview of what I have created is, first of all, I have made building your brand a simple lingo. Instead of being that complicated thing where people are like, they're using this word left, right, and center. They have no idea what it is. Oh, I want to build my brand. Oh, I have to show up with my brand. I am my brand. And then it's like, what is branding? And I made it simple enough to make it extremely insightful. I base it on scientific, tests and on my experience, on pop culture examples. There are so many, a combination of so many things to make people realize that all those steps I'm creating are essential to build your brand. And they are chronologically very logical to start the mind from, I don't know what I'm doing, to, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. I see. And then at the end, it's like, wow, yes, oh my God, now I get it. And that is, to me, the beauty of it, because that's how step by step for 9 weeks, we're going through deeper and deeper and deeper into something that's going to create your evergreen success, although it evolves. And I always recommend my clients every 6 months to do a little bit of a tune-up and say, hey, you know what? Let's see if you brought back some old patterns with you. But that process is the deepest of process. Same thing. Some crying, a lot of crying, but a lot of realizing, a lot of, oh my God, or, oh wow, or I realize now, or oh my God, I have my aha moment. And that's what I do. I go from one aha moment with my client to the next to starting building the foundation of that mansion, because you can build a mansion on sands and it's not going to last very long. Now, if we do concrete pillars underneath, now you have it for life.
we may have just scared a few people away from ever working with us. They're thinking to themselves, I don't want to work with these people. They're going to make me cry. But the real nuggets here is that when you go through this type of transformation, you have this type of experience, it builds you, it accelerates your growth. So for those entrepreneurs who are listening, now there are going to be some people who they get it on a superficial level. I've got to look my best. I've got to do my branding, make sure that there is that congruency, make sure that I do project what I want to project. But there are some people who are going to get it at a deeper level, and they're going to feel that this is more than just superficial, that who I am in the world, it's as much internal as it is external. And so for those people who are looking for that deeper, more transformative experience, who is your ideal client? What's their mindset? What is their psychology?
That's a great question, because you see, this is not, and we talked about it, often entrepreneurs, they're looking at the final goal, which is money. Hey, how much money? My projections, my spreadsheet. What I do, I don't have it on a spreadsheet. It's custom. And actually, even though I have the same exact steps for everybody, I'm going to take very different routes upon each client, because suddenly I realize, oh, that's where actually we need to work more on. And I want it to be a turning point experience, because charging people thousands of dollars, it's one thing, and it's good for the bank account and it looks good, but that's not the ultimate point anymore. It used to be my point. It used to be like, how much am I going to score? For this to happen, we meet. And I tell them, we're going to spend about 15, 20 minutes. And we don't, because I don't know how to do that. I don't look at my clock. I don't look at my watch. We talk. And now I'm going to get the insight. But I'm also going to get the insight of who is still going to be with his ego or her ego at the end of that hour, because usually it's an hour, and who's ready, who's saying, all right, I think I can do that. Yes, I want to. Or if you could sense that this is going to be a battle, and I'm not here to battle anybody, and I'd rather say goodbye to some money and be happy with the clients I'm coaching. And that's the thing that's part of growth and self-development and spirituality, is knowing I'm not for everyone. Like you said, we're going to scare some, because they're going to be like, I don't want to cry. But if you're scared that you're going to cry with us, I'd like to know how you're going to go out there to create success. Because if you can't look at yourself or look at yourself in a screen with someone else and cry, well, then that means you got a long way to go to know where you're at and who you are and how you build that. And now to your point, yes, the internal is where it starts. You can only put a wrap around it and a beautiful envelope on, and I give always the example. You can put a dress, a designer dress, a $50,000 dress on a lady. And I have been in things where there was either a TV show or something, and they're doing it so fast that the mindset didn't have time to travel from, I start here and I get there. It's like, but I don't deserve that dress. Oh my God, I'm going to stain it. Maybe I'm going to damage it. And do I look too fat? I don't think I'm cut for that. And you would think any woman in the world would say, if I'm going to put a $50,000 dress on you, a $100,000 dress, you're going to feel like a princess for a day. That's not how it works. Well, because it's expensive, it's going to make you feel good? Not necessarily. If you're ready for it, absolutely, it's going to be the most empowerment, like a fairy tale for one night. But it could also be the nightmare of all nightmares, because it's like, I look ridiculous. Everybody's looking at me. Meanwhile, no one is looking at her or him more than anything else. But it's like, I look totally stupid with that. And that's what I don't do. I'm not here, when clients say, on occasion, I'm like, we're not a match, and it's okay. No, I want to learn. It's already done. I've made up my mind. You still have to learn on you. And do more deeper work in order to knowing what you want to do with your life. But I can tell you, you're not ready for me. So that's how it works.
You said something that I have to spend just a little bit of time on.
Yes.
That woman wearing the $50,000 dress who doesn't feel like she is worthy of a $50,000 dress. This is essentially what business owners are bumping up against over and over and over and over again. We see it all the time. People win the lottery and they lose it. Their mind is not in alignment with that money, and they will sabotage themselves and lose all of it to bring themselves back down to where they perceive themselves to be. We have to do the inner work. So many people think, I'll be happy when I have the money. I'll be happy when I have this number of clients or that level of success. Doesn't work that way. Because even if you're able to create it, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, you can create success by focusing obsessively on it. When that is where your focus is, when that is what your mind is set on, you can create it. But if you don't create the internal foundation to support that success, you will sabotage yourself. And I see it so often with clients who come to me. They admit they achieve these goals, these amazing, fantastic goals, and they don't feel successful because they've never created an internal reality for themselves of, I am successful, I am worthy, I'm a good person, I'm out there doing good things. Life is supposed to be good for me. So they just keep striving for more, and the more never fulfills them. And it's a shell of a life. It's a shell of a human being. That's why I was so excited to have you come back on and talk about this in greater depth, because what we're talking about here is you've got to create the foundation for your success. And it's so fascinating to me because I have so many different experts on who are experts in very, very different areas. But it always comes back to the same fundamental stuff that we're talking about here, the real principles for success, which is an inside job. Without doing that inner work, you can build the mansion on the sand and don't expect it to stay in very good condition for a very long time. You can only build as high as your foundation is deep. So you're coming at it from your unique perspective, and I'm coming at it from my unique perspective. And everyone who is really, truly doing their thing in their genius zone we're all kind of accomplishing the same mission. We're just coming at it from a completely different angle.
Yes.
So with that said, you have to, again, share with our listeners how they can connect with you, because you do work with people one-on-one, but you also have other products and programs and books. And I mean, you're out, you're sharing your message, sharing your energy. How can people get in contact with you?
All right, so you can contact me directly on my website at imageimpactindex.com. Now I'm here to build a community. So info@talktopatrice.com is where you can actually send me directly your questions. Of course, I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. but I do a lot of events. And in fact, there's going to be a lot of live events online, accessible, because not just everything is a high price ticket. It has e-courses as well, from, hey, you're back in the job market, job interview. How do I handle it? What do I wear? How does that work? You go on a date, you're nervous. I have e-courses for that too. So it's really all about what is your goal? What is your purpose? Because that's what branding is about. Branding is emotion and branding is purpose. It's what you're doing with it to communicate your message. And that's how you can get in touch with me.
Yay. So glad that you came back on. I'm really, really, really grateful for your journey and who you are being and the gift and contribution that you are by honoring yourself, embracing yourself, and doing what you're damn good at doing, because that's awesome. And there are a lot of people who are out there doing the very, very superficial, surface level stuff, and that's fine. That's where some people are at in their life. But there are a lot of people who they want more. We only live once, reincarnation or not. We only get to be this version of us one time. Are you making it count? When you're listening from somewhere else to that eulogy that you were talking about, are there going to be regrets? I hope not. Sometimes we've got to pull our head out of our what in order to start doing things in a way that really matters. We've got to make it right. Just because you had a rough past, I surely, didn't come in with the best set of circumstances to propel me forward into success. Doesn't matter where you came from. Matters what's inside of you and what you're being called to do. And you can create as much success and personal fulfillment as your heart desires, but you've got to say yes to yourself.
I totally with you on that, and that's exactly what it is. One life, one gift. That's always what I say. Now I'm so about, why am I going to squander it into, I know we all get lost into the whole society says, oh, be yourself, be out there, especially now that more than ever, you need to be who you are. But then you are who you are for real. And then it's like, oh, look at her. What does she think? Or look at him. Oh, he think he's better than anyone else. And here we go. So when you have made peace with that concept and knowing that no matter what, it will be, and by the way, it's not 50-50. I was talking about it to another interview this morning. It's 80% of people are not going to be able to stand you. 20, and in the 20 remaining, they're still not like in love with you. 10 will tolerate you and be like, yeah. 5 will be, on occasion, tune in, see what's going on. And the last 5 are going to love what you do, follow you to the moon and back, buy everything you sell, because they just have this connection with you. And that's what it comes down to. Those 5%, that's plenty. When this mastermind I belong to showed me, okay, how many millions of people are in the US? And you get 5%, that was going to make you very rich if that's what you go for. But imagine 5% of the US following what you do. That's enough to last you a lifetime, to make you so happy, instead of how many likes I have on social media, how many followers do I have, and how much of this and more of that, because everything is quantified, and the higher the number, the better it is, because reality TV has promoted that. So please go back to basic. There was one life given to you. And as you said, Alicia, no regrets. Don't live with regrets. Regrets that was the one thing I knew young that I didn't want to live with. And when I get offered to move to the US, I had 24 hours to answer that question. And it was like, oh my God, leaving my family, leaving my friends, leaving everything I love. And I'm 18 and I'm like, but at the same time, I knew if I didn't say yes to that offer, I would have regretted it my entire life. So no regrets. One life, one gift, and go with it.
That's a great way to end this episode. So, Patrice, Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. I really hope that we resonated with at least 5% of you.
You'll
and,
practice.
and until next time, thank you so much.
Thank you.